Beyond the Gates time, let's get into it. So we open with Vernon chatting with Dani, and he is there to basically run interference between Dani and Hayley to make sure there are no more clashes in this hospital. He even suggests that Dani take Anita home, and he offers to stay there and keep her updated on anything. And Dani's like, "No, I need to be here for the kids." And Vernon's like, he knows Dani wants to be there as well for Bill, and he's like, well, if anything were to go wrong, God forbid, you will need support too. Is Andre on his way? And Dani's like, I haven't let him know yet. My phone is dead, and he's in a late night shoot. All the excuses in the world. And Verner's like, hmm. So okay, Dani. Then we see Hayley in the hospital stairwell calling Randy, letting him know that there was a little wrench in the plans. Bill passed out. He's at the hospital right now. And Randy was like, how could you get everything so wrong? And Hayley, with her dumb self, is like, well, look on the bright side. By morning, I could be a widow. Number one, Randy already told you to keep Bill out of the hospital, girl. This is not going to go well. They're going to do some tests. Number two, why do they always have these super secret, crazy conversations in wide open public spaces? Anybody could be in that stairwell, but let's keep going. Leslie stops by the hospital looking for Ted so she can discuss Eva's scar with him, and she notices that the Duprees are in the waiting area. So she's talking to Ashley, and she's just like, ugh, surely that family is cursed. Again, Leslie, what happened to you turning over a new leaf? But okay. She says this family is surely cursed, but I see Nikki's not over there. And okay. Then we go over to Nikki's house. Her and Kyle have been very, very busy, and they're trying to figure out what type of sustenance Kyle and Nicole are going to have, not the sustenance that they've been having for the entire day, apparently. So she finally finds her phone, and she's like, oh no, there's an emergency of some sort. I have a slew of texts and messages. See, this is why, Nicole, you are always left out of the loop, because she's always complaining about nobody tells me nothing. You over here getting the work out of your life, apparently, with your new man. That's why you missed your messages, but let me hush. Okay, so Randy is big mad at Hayley, and he simply thinks that she is overplaying her hand. She's too cocky and she's getting sloppy. He was like, everything was going to be perfect in St. Bart's. We didn't have this meddling family in the mix, and I had a guy to take care of everything. So Randy is really concerned, while Hayley's like, man, what difference does it make? You said it was untraceable, this and that, and I can't wait for him to be dead, basically. But Randy reminds her, we did not account for you doubling and tripling these doses. So yeah, the man said it was untraceable in its standard dose. He's hoping that it's not going to show up in any type of testing, because he was like, what about the autopsy? And she's like, la la la, whatever. And do you know his ex tried to fight me and his bratty kid? Randy like, look, I don't want to hear all that. Hayley ends the call, and Randy is upset. He's sitting at Orpheus by himself. He hits the table right when Joey is walking in, and Joey's like, what was that about? Anita finally gets Nicole on the phone, and she's like, "Girl, where are you?" And Nicole's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. How's everything going?" So Anita's updating her on Bill, his condition, how Chelsea and Naomi found out at the same time, and Dani happened to be with them, and that is why her good sis is at this hospital, because Anita is like, the situation is combustible. Dani and Hayley got into it over who has the right to be with Bill in terms of like watching over him, and Nicole was like, oh my god, no. What happened to all the speeches from Dani about boundaries and this and that? And Anita was like, well intentioned, but clearly not the truth. And so Nicole is asking, like, where is Andre? Blah, blah, blah. Anita says Andre had a late night shoot, and Dani is insisting on us not bothering him. So Nicole is like, okay, I'll be there as soon as I can. Because Anita's like, your sister needs you. So Nicole tells Kyle that the sustenance will have to wait, and she has to go to the hospital. Andre gets home. He's brought a lovely bouquet, and it seems like another little gift bag. And he's like, babe, where are you? All right. Then we go back over to the hospital, and who is it? Kat, Chelsea, Jacob, and Naomi are just talking about everything. Chelsea has been trying to desperately reach Madison. Unfortunately, Madison was already on her way out of the country, and so it appears that she has not been caught in time. And Chelsea's just like, I really wish Dad would have let Madison do these tests so we could have figured out what was going on. And Kat was like, she can understand why Bill was hesitant about hospital stuff. And Naomi's like, no, that's not healthy, cousin. And Kat was like, can I finish? Like, yes, I understand his hesitation, but him trying to go on vacation right now was absolutely insane. And Kat brings up a good point. Like, thank God, basically, that he passed out where he did, and it wasn't on the plane or en route to St. Bart's. So, Chelsea's just worried and pissed about how Hayley is basically flexing her wife status to keep Dani away. And she's just like, what if Dad doesn't come out of this? What if Mom doesn't get to say bye to him? And Jacob's like, no, we have to be positive. Then we see Leslie slinking around in the back. She and Hayley cross paths, and Leslie's like, oh, how's Bill doing? And Hayley just assumes that Ashley has told her business, but that is not the case. Leslie was like, you just told me that Bill was in the hospital by your response. So then Hayley's like, it's none of your business either way, however you figured it out. And Leslie points out that Hayley's all alone in this sea of Dupree's with no support system, and she feels sorry for her. I wonder if Leslie's about to be like, I'll be your support system here, because you know, Leslie has been trying to convince Hayley to team up with her against Bill for the longest, and Hayley has not bitten, but this might be the catalyst, because I agree with Randy. If they do some real tests, I think something's gonna show up. So if Hayley's gonna try to do this, she better do it right, is all I'm saying. I don't want Bill to die, but if you're gonna do something, do it right. So Leslie and Hayley continue this conversation, and Leslie talks about how the Dupree showed her a little bit of compassion when Eva was going through her transplant and this and that. So Jacob, Naomi, Kat, and Chelsea are all staring at Hayley and Leslie from across the room. And Leslie asked Hayley, well, what did you do to get exiled like this? And Hayley was like, oh, they accused me of breaking up Bill and Dani's marriage, but that marriage was over anyways, and they're just mad because I put up boundaries trying to protect my husband. And Chelsea's like, I can't, and she just walks off. And Kat's about to go over there and start another fight, and Jacob said, no, this is what Hayley wants. Don't give in to this bait, because she wants to look like the victim here. And so she walks off. And then Andre is texting Chelsea like, where are you guys at? Vanessa said Dani is with you. So then Chelsea texts that they are at the hospital, and that man calls in 1.5 seconds asking what is going on. As soon as he and Chelsea get on this phone call, the doctors are walking up. So Chelsea's like, I gotta go, but I can't get into this right now. Mom is scared. She needs you. Please get down here. Oh my God, this is about to be a whole issue. I know it. Nicole is getting ready to head out to the hospital, and Kyle's like, I have questions. He is a little concerned about Dani's obsessiveness. I hope that's a word. Obsession. That sounds better. About Bill. And he was like, didn't you tell me that she fired a gun at his wedding and all of these things? And Nicole was like, yes, but basically, yeah. Bill was Dani's first love. And like I keep saying, it's hard to shake that first love. I know. I have my own kind of Bill right here, but he's not that bad. But it's hard. You've been with someone more than you've been apart, and sometimes the toxicity happens, but whatever. Nicole was like, yes. I started to wonder if Kyle was a psychiatrist too, because he clocked that situation so quick and so accurately. And Nicole was like, yes, that's why I'm on my way, because my sister Dani needs a reminder that Bill is no longer her responsibility. Because Kyle was like, I thought Dani and Andre had a great marriage, and they're like, every time I see them, they're like newlyweds. So Kyle is confused. So Nicole's like, all right, I'm about to head out. And Kyle said, let's go. And then he was like, oh, well, I can stay back. But then Nicole just grabs his hand and they walk out together. This is why Kyle was the best choice. Because where's Carlton? He works at the hospital. It's late though, so I'll give him a pass. But this is what I was saying. So the surgeon comes out and addresses the family. He tells them that basically Bill's heart stopped, and that is why he passed out, and that his heart stopping was different from a heart attack, because in a heart attack basically there's a blockage, but for this his heart just stopped. And Dani and them are like, what in the world would cause his heart to stop? While Hayley's looking around looking nervous, because the doctor was like, we are gonna get, we're gonna go down a list and check things off one by one and try to figure this out. So Hayley's getting nervous now, but then she goes into her, oh my god, how could this have happened to Bill? He's the strongest man I know. I need to see my husband. Ah. So the doctor's like, yeah, we'll let you know an update. And what else did he say? Oh, he was also clarifying that Bill's heart stopped twice again while they were operating on him, and that's what took so long. They also inserted a pacemaker, and if Caroline did not perform CPR, he would not have made it. So Caroline literally saved that man's life. Dani hugs Chelsea and Naomi, and she's like, all the rest doesn't matter. Bill is fine. He's here. That's all that matters. And Dani sighs a huge moment of relief, or sighs a sigh of relief. You see, this is exactly why I had zero interest of doing blended families, because ain't no way I could deal with this. So Hayley, the current wife, declares that she's gonna go see Bill, and when she's back, she wants all of them gone. What? Naomi and Chelsea are his children, so surely you're not talking to them. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. Then she makes it a point to say, like, and you, Dani, you definitely don't need to be here, because don't think I changed my mind about banning you from his room. You're not needed here. And Dani was like, I'm here to support my girls. And she said, Naomi and Chelsea are grown women. They don't need you. And Chelsea and Naomi were like, don't talk from me. And Chelsea said, you need to get out of our face. And Haley said, or else what? That's what would have happened. But Jacob pulls her to the side, and Hayley keeps going, and Dani loses it. She says, shut up, enough, you dizzy bitch. As soon as she screams that, Nicole is coming off the elevator. She's like, Dani, no. She was like, Dani was like, did you hear what she said to us though? Nicole was like, yes. Hayley is completely out of line. However, she is just trying to bait you, and don't let her. This is crazy. Oh my God. So, Naomi is updating Nicole on Bill's condition when Ashley comes out and says that Bill is awake. And Hayley was like, great, what room is he in? And Ashley said, he actually asked to see Dani. Girl is livid, okay? Because Nicole was about to take Dani out for a breather, and Dani and Nicole were literally walking towards the elevator when Ashley came out. Hayley, face crack of the century. She like, I know you lying. Why do you care so much? But yeah, you should. I mean, for the appearance, I guess, but that man is obsessed with Dani, and Dani is obsessed with him, okay? So then Vernon goes to Hayley, and he's like, let's not cause Bill any more stress, okay? As Hayley is just fuming and seething. Back to Joey and Randy at Orphe Jeans. Joey wants to know what got Randy so upset. Randy lies and says that he had this like betting thing with his mother's boyfriend, and he's upset that if this loser boyfriend blows the rent money, his mom is gonna have to come and stay with him. And Joey's like, oh, okay, because people, in situations sometimes think they are smarter than what they are. Joey is not dumb. He knows Randy is lying. I forgot Kyle was even there. So Anita, and Nicole are sitting in the waiting area, and Anita apologizes for Dani's emotional outburst, and she's just like, this is much different from the other Dupree family events you've been to. I was like, don't worry about it. Actually, I'll go to the cafeteria. Nicole, let me get you some food. And Miss Anita, can I get you anything as well? And Anita's like, no, thank you. Rowena will have something for us when we wait. She ain't eating that hospital food. So then Kyle runs off, and then Nicole and Anita get to chat, and Anita's like, oh, so I see you made your decision, basically. And Nicole was like, you were right. Putting a deadline on things was the best advice, and Carlton made it easier by taking himself out of the running. And so me and Kyle have decided to be exclusive and give this thing a shot. And then she asked Anita if she made the right choice, and Anita was like, yes, and I would support anyone who put that smile back on your face. So Leslie went to get Hayley some food. I said, did this she come back with some fruits? Or maybe those are peanuts. That was it. Oh, okay. Bill must have thought that he died and went to heaven, okay? He's in his hospital bed, and Dani's there just caressing his head and stuff, and he wakes up and he's like, I knew you would be here. And Dani said, that's just what we do for each other. And then she sat down and she took his hand and she kissing it and rubbing it on her face. Where is Andre? And I was like, Bill will do anything to get Dani back, including dropping dead. Andre arrives at the hospital absolutely frantic because the way Chelsea ended the phone call, he thought Dani was the one admitted into the hospital. Ashley tells him to breathe. So sorry for Chelsea giving you misinformation. Dani is a visitor here for a patient. Nicole is at the desk too, so she clarifies to Andre that Dani is there to visit Bill because he went into cardiac arrest several times. And then Andre was like, okay, well, where is Dani then? And they say, Nicole says, oh, she's in the room with Bill. And Andre was like, wait 1 minute. Dani's in the room with Bill, but Hayley's sitting over there? It's like, what? That does... I'm telling you, I'm sure things are about to escalate. So then Leslie and Hayley are chatting in their little corner of the waiting room. And Leslie was like, I thought Dani went home. And Hayley said, no, Bill asked for her. And what was I supposed to do? And Leslie was like, you need to put your little foot down. I agree, because I'm like, that would have been the time to have the energy. If you want to play this dutiful, doting wife, that was the time to have the energy. But okay. So Leslie's continuing to talk to Hayley, and then Kat and company walk by, and Kat was like, when did those two shrews get together? And I don't even know what they talk about. Psych, the Scooby-Doo mystery gang want to know everything that's going on. So then they huddle up and they are talking about, or theorizing about, how Leslie and Hayley are connected. Chelsea's like, they have a lot in common. And Jacob was like what? And Kat said they're both home-wrecking liars. Duh. I mean, do you need to brush up on your studies at the precinct? And Naomi was like, don't come for my man. And then Jacob was like, I don't see how they could be connected right now. And I know what you're thinking, Kat, and like chill on your junior investigation work. But Kat and Chelsea and them are talking about how, oh my God, what were they talking about? I'm blanking. Oh, Kat was like, what if Leslie is the replacement for Lynette, and Leslie and Hayley, since they've been like chummy or whatever, maybe Leslie knows something about the situation. And Jacob was like, I don't really think so. And, chill with the investigative work, like I said. And he was like, why would Leslie even talk to you? And Kat said, well, she owes me a favor after I saved her daughter's life. So looks like Kat is about to cash in on that favor. So then they're talking about keeping this all away from Dani because she's already worked up enough thinking that Hayley has been cheating on Bill. Here they go, talking out in the open. Vernon walks up, he was like, Hayley's cheating on Bill? Why do you think this? And so Chelsea is telling Vernon everything, like, oh, me and Madison saw Hayley hugged up with this sketchy looking dude who we know works for Joey Armstrong, and this is why we think these things. Vernon does not like what he's hearing, and he wants to know what else they know. Hayley texts Randy while he's still sitting at the table at Orphe Jean's talking to Joey, and the text says that Bill survived the surgery. So Randy just deletes that, and he gets up to head out, and Joey's like, oh, I don't know you not to finish a meal. And Randy just lies and says he needs to take care of something for Joey because his boss is like a really demanding guy. And then Randy leaves, and Joey's just looking like, you ain't got to lie to me, Randy. Bill and Dani were getting real cozy in this hospital room. She's in the little seat next to him, and he's in the bed, and she real close. She basically laying on his shoulder, and he is like, oh, there were just so many things left unsaid, but I just want to say I'm sorry, Dani, and I should have said it more often. And she said, I know, Bill. They're having a moment, and Hayley basically kicked that door open, and she was like, time's up. This visit is over. So Vernon calls Joey, and he is like, what's good with one of your workers having a close relationship with Hayley? What is going on, basically? And Joey's being coy because he really doesn't know. And Vernon is like, surely one of your workers, if they were doing something with Hayley, surely you would know, Joey. And are you just digging into Hayley's life just to see what you could dig up on Bill? And Joey was like, well, I am aware of the relationship, but frankly, if it's not bothering Bill, it's none of my damn business. And me and Bill have developed a good working relationship, and I don't need to fish for information because I have plenty to blackmail him with right now if I so chose to do that. And then Joey just hangs up and chuckles. He's like, man, he just let the thrill of the game. So then Dani, Chelsea, and Naomi are walking back into the waiting area, and they see Andre, and Dani's like, you're here? First of all, her tone and delivery is like shock, guilt. And Andre was like, yeah, because she thought he was going to be working late, and he said, we ended early, believe it or not. And I called you, but I couldn't get through. And Dani's like, oh, I'm sorry. Things went so fast, and I couldn't charge my phone. And Andre, like, the energy is bad. It's awkward in this scene because clearly Andre's thinking like, why are you so obsessed with your ex-husband? You didn't even tell me what was going on. You are acting super weird. So then Andre is just like, okay, are you ready to go home? And Dani like reluctantly says yes, with Nicole giving her the eye like, yes. And Anita like, yes. And Vernon like, yes. So Dani agrees to go home, and she tells Naomi and Chelsea that Hayley's in there with Bill now, but you guys can kick her out if you want. Hayley and Bill are chatting, and Bill is just on joke time. He's just like, oh, thanks for hanging in there with me. I wouldn't have blamed you if you would have hopped on a flight and went to St. Bart's without me. And Hayley's like, why are you joking so much? Why can't you be serious with me? Then Bill is informed of what happened because he did not know. So Hayley was telling him how his heart stopped, and they don't know why. And Bill's just like, what is going on with me? And we don't know. And he continues to joke, and Hayley gets mad. She's like, why can't you be serious with me? Or is that something you just do with Dani? This is the most superficial, ridiculous marriage on this show because he don't want this woman. I mean, in the beginning when Dani shot up that wedding, he may have felt something, but over time, he don't care nothing about Hayley. Evidence during that tornado, because he was not worried about her one damn bit. He almost went up to the upper room, and the first person he asked to see was Dani. Girl, okay. Bill explains to Hayley that the reason why he called Dani first was that he was unsure as to what was going on and if he was going to make it or not, and he did not want to have a guilty conscience. So he wanted to basically apologize for his wrongdoings in the past. And Hayley's like, okay, you wanted a clean slate. Then Naomi and Chelsea burst in like, ooh, this meeting's done. Sorry to interrupt. And, they finally get to see Bill, and they're happy that he's doing okay. And Naomi offers to get something for him to do because he's like, I could get up and walk out of here right now. I feel great. I don't even have a book to read. And they like, no, you're not. So Naomi offers to go by the house because she's like, I'm sure Hayley wants to be here and not leave your side. So Bill gives Naomi the code to the house. I wonder if she's going to do some sneaking around, some sleuthing. She should. This would be the perfect opportunity. In fact, if it were me, I would have Kat come with me because this is, like I said, this is the best thing that Kat is good for. She's a good little Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. Daphne, she's great at that. Mama Anita and Daddy Vernon get home and she is like, I am concerned. Did you see what Daddy was doing? She was acting like she was, and Vernon said, still Bill's wife. And Vernon said he was concerned as well, but you know, Andre's in her life now. She's a different woman than she was a year and a half ago. And Anita comments on how much Andre is in love with Dani. And he appreciates the Dupree family a hell of a lot more than Bill did. So she's hoping, you know, things will just stay as is right now. And she does not want Dani going back to Bill in any capacity. And Vernon says, well, you know, Andre's here now and he's not going to give this family up without a fight. And this is exactly why Andre is not going to win in the end, in my opinion. They are at home, Dani and Andre. He is pouring her a glass of wine and she's admiring the bouquet that he bought her. And he was like, yeah, I bought these things for you. I picked this wine out and I wanted to surprise you, but then I got home and you weren't here and these things happened. And it's so sad that a spa day between mom and daughters turned into this and all these surprises. He never once addressed the clearly inappropriate nature of Dani and Bill's continued dealings with each other. I know Andre is upset. Most men would be in that situation. Instead of just addressing it and being straight up, they're gonna go to their usual, getting hot and heavy, sex as a weapon. But that's not gonna fix the fact that that girl is gonna leave you for her husband probably very, very soon. So until tomorrow.